Good day. Welcome to Supply Chain India, episode 13. Packaging is a critical element in business. The Cadbury wrapper with silver or golden color foil, the Titan watches or Gitanjali jewelry casing get adequate attention. Same holds good for your 56-inch Samsung TV or the double door Voltas fridge when it lands at your home after the purchase. But the key question is packaging taken seriously by Indians?
There are a lot of solutions which are available in the market, but the person who is using the packaging solution, is he using in a right way or not? That's the essence of packaging which is required in the market, because everyone is aware about using pallets, everyone is aware about using airbags, everyone is aware about using lashing, but how to protect the shipment from getting damaged is the main essence of packaging.
Okay, what is the level of maturity of packaging, industrial packaging, as far as the Indian clients are concerned?
See, sir, if we divide our packaging discussion into two parts, there are two types of packaging. One is secured packaging to make sure that the goods which are in transit doesn't get damaged, because it's a national loss basically. So everyone is aware about using airbags or pallets or lashing products, but how to use it or in what way or how to maneuver it so that there are limited or negligible amount of damages. So that needs to be the essence of discussion in the market, which is missing as of now. So everyone is using packaging as per their requirement, but what is required to get it less damaged or negligible amount of damage at the end of the day? Because ultimately coming back, it's a nation loss if a product gets spoiled or get damaged in the in transit.
Yeah, I mean, is it the cost consideration which is really forcing them not to pay adequate attention to packaging?
See, it entirely depends upon the industry. If we talk about FMCG industry like Unilever, PNG or GSK or some other products, then they are cost centric because their margin is very less. But if we go to pharma industry, they pay a lot of attention towards packaging, because uh, uh, pharma product is of more essence, because it is reaching to every individual, and there are a lot of R&D going on to make a product which is a costly affair as compared to FMCG items.
Okay, okay. No, like you've been in the industry, particularly in the logistics, and you pay adequate attention to packaging. You spoke about pharma, you spoke about FMCG. Okay, I mean, you also mentioned that FMCG, possibly guys don't give that kind of an attention which a pharma guy gives. I mean,
Agreed.
as far as the FMCG is concerned, is it the cost consideration? I'm repeating the question, but I can't help it.
Yes, it's a cost consideration. I'm telling you, if you see the cartoon quality of a pharma packed product and a FMCG product, the ply that the cartoon ply, that 3 ply, 4 ply, 5 ply they are using, that can be assessed through naked eyes also. You don't need to touch the box also. You can assess the quality of the cartoon by seeing only. So it's a cost consideration only, sir.
Yeah, what about the industrial packaging? Okay, forget about FMCG and the pharma, because what about the normal industry packaging?
No, I didn't get you. If you can elaborate a bit.
No, no, the missionaries. Okay, the missionaries.
Sir, see, for machinery, the basically it's a project-based product. So the packaging, like we were discussing about the prototype of that Tesla product, so it's a make-to-order thing. So in that case, the cost needs to be made aware to the client that if you give me this budget, then this type of packaging will happen. And if your quality of packaging is required to this level, then this much of minimum cost needs to be given to us so that the packaging can sustain. Ultimately, the aim of packaging is to protect the goods from getting damaged or spoiled. And if that is not done as per the client's request, then what's the point of making so much of efforts?
Okay, okay. I mean, see, it is something like a over-dimensional cargo. When you move a over-dimensional
Yes,
cargo, it has to be
agreed,
customized. You really need
agreed,
to give the complete dimensions of the product to be, like a, forwarded, freight forwarded, or like moved from point A to point B. Then they come
agreed.
up with a solution. You get the clients okay for the budget, and then do it. Whereas in the case of the FMCG, they don't do take that much, they don't show that much interest. Or in the case of pharma, because I mean the interest of the product, or the life saving kind of a product, they really need to be doubly careful in ensuring that the product reaches in like a good condition, right? Okay.
Agreed.
I mean, tell me, Vishal. I mean, did you undergo any, packaging diploma or something? Where did you pick up
Sir,
all this, all this,
sir, basically, it's the interest to learn has given me this much of kick in my life to understand all the aspects of a logistics. See, logistics is a very big field. Transportation is a part of it. So at the end of the day, when we are giving some transportation services to our customer, so the value added services which we bring to them makes a difference.
Mr. Mugundan, I wish to, congratulations. I heard about you under, say, TVS Supply Chain Solutions, moving a Hyperlight prototype prepared by IIT Madras to, Los Angeles, some time ago. And I'm more interested in the packaging part of it because it is such a very prestigious product for, like Elon Musk, for Tesla. I want you to take me through the process, how did you, once you understood the prototype, how did you go about preparing the right kind of a packaging solution?
First of all, appreciate this whole question and the opportunity. Yes, as I said, the project itself was a very prestigious project for a couple of reasons. One is that this was a global competition and people from various parts of the world competed. They were shortlisted. They sent some visuals or the visual designs of the product. And then only a select group of people, if I'm right, it's about 25 of them around the world, were shortlisted to come in person to present the prototype to Mr. Elon Musk himself. And this team from IIT Chennai was the only participant from India, or they even said it is from South Asia, which means it also added to the glory of the whole competitive spirit. The second one is, as I said, we were working against a very tight timeline. These are actually conceived by the students, the third year and the fourth year students of IIT Chennai. And obviously, as you can imagine, this is a prototype. So they kept on working on the model until the last minute in which it was given to us for packing. The third one is that the criticality of the packing was that it had to be packed very well. First of all, no over engineering or under engineering. Second, it had to take the shock of traveling by air from Chennai all the way to Los Angeles in a very short time. The third is that it has to be very easy for unpacking as well, because these people were traveling from India to LA to receive this item, and there was not much of time that was available to them even to do a proper unpacking. So the long story short, the project was prestigious because of the very nature of the competition. The team had to be supported by a good packaging, by a good transportation solution, without which they will not be able to compete nor win. And last but not least, this being a prototype, the time was of essence, and the team had to work until at least the last moment until they handed over the packing. So this is about the criticality of this project. Now, what we did in terms of moving forward with this packing is fairly simple. We realized that we had to use green material. It had to be a airworthy shipment. And we know that if it is overpacked, obviously it adds a lot of weight. If it is underpacked, then obviously it cannot withstand the stretch. So we had to do parallelly 3 or 4 models in which this whole pilot will sit in. And these models were constantly re-engineered depending on the stress points on the prototype. So that critical parts of that prototype should not be disturbed. At the same time, they should not be under any stress that will lead to their damage. So basically the components of this packaging were very simple. We used a nailless box. We used a lot of support, green-friendly support parts to support the prototype. And this whole thing was actually assembled, packed, and shipped within a matter of, I would say, probably 24 hours. That is all what's the time that was available from the time the prototype was finally fully ready to be handed over. And we packed it on site, and then we handed it over to our own this thing.
Yeah,
So that is the story behind how we were doing this.
Yeah, Mr. Mukundan, tell me, like, how did IIT Madras zeroed in on TVS solutions, supply chain solutions?
Yeah, actually, this is a couple of factors to it. There was a Logistics Skill Council. That's an organization under the Department of Commerce. One Mr. Ramesh Venkat and one Captain Ramanujam. They were actually part of that organization. They know about Flexol. We work very, very closely with a lot of projects from the government side as well. So actually, the lead came from them. And then obviously the TVS ability to manage these kinds of projects on a very tight timeline, that also added to the whole lead coming to us. And of course, they were also probably exploring other companies. I don't know about that, but nevertheless, at the end of the day, I think the team received great appreciation personally from Elon Musk, though they did not win the competition. They personally were congratulated for the engineering that has gone into the product that they developed, as well as the seamless ability to bring that product from India. Because India, as you know, has had a slightly poor record, if you call it, in terms of hardware shipments. Many times, our handling systems are normally put in wrong light. But in this case, I think those challenges which were not in our control also were managed well successfully so that the product could reach the destination on time in the best possible manner.
Yeah, Vishal, you have any questions for Mukundan?
It's a real time experience that you have got by delivering this thing in a very limited amount of time. But my only question regarding this project will be that what was the thought behind creating this sort of product? Because you don't have any dia or any prototypes in the market to have any reference. Just a engineering thing that you can think and do.
Are you part of the new fleet evolution? The transition is already underway. Fleets are using data to manage smarter, keeping drivers safe, streamlining operations, keeping customers satisfied. This requires agility and the right platform. Did you know that 94% of road accidents are caused by human error? What if your drivers had an active coach, keeping them engaged and safe and reducing their stress? And what about your managers? What if you could cut their administrative workload and help them gain visibility and control of the fleet? Green Road supports you with one unified platform. Our advanced active coaching gives drivers clear feedback to help them drive more safely and efficiently, and keeps them motivated via personalized information and friendly competition. In the office, online dashboards keep the right information at your fingertips, freeing you to focus on exceptions and pressing issues. Whether you require an app, an installed solution, or other sensors, all are integrated into a single platform that helps you manage diverse operations proactively across the world. The result? Safe drivers, reduced risk, protection for your brand, and savings for your business. The Green Road platform is quick and easy to deploy at scale, even for fleets with thousands of drivers and vehicles throughout the world. Green Road.
No, it's a very good question. I think in most of the cases, I'll take a parallel example that may make it a lot simpler. We were shipping TVS. There was a large two-wheeler manufacturer from Hosur. You can make out the name. They were shipping 190 motors from south of India, which is Hosur, all the way to the north, extreme north. Now, of course, it was a stable product. It was not that it was a prototype or anything. It was a stable product. But nevertheless, we wanted to increase the pack density. So the customer would not give you a sample. Even a defective sample would not be given to you. The contour drawings may not be available because it's a kind of a proprietary item for the customer. So why I'm saying that is, in many of these kinds of first-time packaging experience, it will be very nice for you to have all the items. For example, you have a prototype on hand, you have all the dimensions that you need, you know where the resting points are, the stress points are, all of that. So ideally, if you have all the data, then it becomes much easier to design a well thought out packaging. But in these kinds of projects where, as you rightly know, this is a prototype, which means there is no other sample that is available. And we will also not be able to freely play around with the prototype, because it's a very sensitive prototype. So even the access to even a measurement or even the access to take a picture, even an access to take a 3D drawing of that, all of that were challenges because that had to be sensitively handled. We don't want to proliferate this information. Everybody understands, knows. So the competitor also gets an access to your information. So there is also a lot of sensitivity around the product that makes it all the more challenging to even draw the ground zero. But this is a typical challenge. This is, of course, ideally, we would be happy with having a prototype on hand. But nevertheless, in most of the engineering, not only in this type of Elon Musk project, in most of the other products that are in the development stage, getting access to a defective part or getting access to an actual part to know the weight, to know with the dimension, to know the pivotal points, all that itself is always a challenge. Yeah. So that is where I think that design innovation or design creativity has to play a role. Yeah, whereby you assume a few factors, you understand that there are a couple of things that have to be taken into account because these products are not designed for packaging friendly, unlike a consumer good or unlike a soap or this thing. So we need to make sure that we build that extra engineering into the packaging so that the product by itself transforms from what they have designed to becoming a packaging friendly product. So, for example, that a support, for example. Now, they might have designed a support to support only the product. But then when you realize that that support is not good enough to hold that product during transportation or during packaging, then you obviously build another structure which is very similar to that support, but it encompasses that support itself, which means it's the master supporter that encompasses the mini supporter inside so that you don't disturb the product. At the same time, you get the functionality of what you want to achieve for providing that support to that product.
Yeah, Mr. Mugundan.
Just to add one more question, sir.
Just a minute, Vishal. Mr. Mugundan, before you join, like Vishal, I was discussing with Vishal about the maturity of India in understanding the importance of packaging, the maturity level of Indian supply chain professionals giving importance to packaging, whether it is FMCG or pharma or critical items, industrial engineering products, the maturity level. Your thoughts, Mr. Mugundan?
Yeah, it's a very sensitive question. I don't want my customers to think that I'm kind of saying negative to them. Yeah, actually, see, we are a very good engineering country, right? We have designed our own motorbikes. We have designed our own cars. Of course, there are also parallelly innovations that we adopt from other countries, all of that. The packaging, in my view, I think packaging it has to reach a level of maturity, which we are still probably 3 out of 5, if we can put a scale to that. It is not because of our engineering deficiency, or it is not because of our innovation quotient, or it is not because of our inability to conceive. But I think attitudinally, we have somehow neglected the packaging as a concept. That is why, because I have worked for global companies, as you know, many times packaging engineering is also part of a product development. And now, unfortunately, in many cases, packaging development takes a backseat. So the product is developed very well. And then at the last minute, or just before the product is finally into shape, then the interest in packaging starts to happen. And normally that leads to very little time available from the time the product is about to be released to the time the entire engineering of the packaging is done. So you always end up with the question saying that, could we have done better? Had we had one more week? Had we had another month? Can this packaging be like what it is today? Could it have been improved by another 50%? That kind of a thought process always comes in whenever we are dealing with new products. Particularly, as you elaborated, some of these industries that we are dealing with, the pharma industry, the FMCGs kind of thing, their packaging plays a much more functional and aesthetic role. It is not only the functional role in engineering. For example, a radiator cap does not require a glamorous packaging, because that can always be packed in like a sweet box, and so long as the functional aspect of that radiator cap is maintained throughout its journey, then the packaging is good. But the other parts of the packaging, other industries of the packaging that we are talking about, there it is not only the functionality that has to be taken into account. Cost of packaging also has to play a role, which means you can do a beautiful packaging. Nevertheless, if it is going to be costing 2 times more than the product, nobody is going to buy it. And the aesthetics of that packaging also would play a role. So those factors, if you put them all together, we probably weigh anywhere between 3 to 3.5 out of 5, whereas a Western world may be anywhere between 4.5 to 5.
Yeah, Vishal, like Mr. Mukundan says, on a scale of 5, India is at 3, whereas the Western countries are 4 to 4.5. But earlier when we are talking, like you mentioned that FMCGs do not give that much attention, whereas the pharma companies give a lot more attention. So there seems to be some kind of a divergence in the views. I want your thoughts again.
See, sir is on a part where he is giving solutions to the clients, basically, who are coming to them, the how to reduce the damages, or how to make goods more usable towards the customer end. So when we are transporting goods from one end to another end, we see, if you see a product, there's a limited stacking as per the SOP, that you can stack to 7 level or 6 level or 5 level. But when it's put inside the vehicle, then there is no limit. Till the height of the vehicle, they are using the CFT to move the goods. So that's not ethical as when it comes to the sustainability of the product, because a cartoon at a ground level has a limitations to absorb a weight or a mass, so which gets destroyed in the transit. So that no one is taking care, and at the end of the they are putting the debit on the transporter, that it was the driver's mistake, that he drive very fast, or there were challenges to transport the goods, which a transporter is responsible, for which a client is not willing to take any responsibility, because at the end of the day, they show the contract that you have signed this contract, and you have put your remarks that you will be taking the liability. So we are at customer stake, basically, at that point of time.
Yeah, Mr. Mukundan, the last question. Okay, there is a lot of talk about the industrial engineers getting into many of the 3PL companies. Okay, I mean, this happens mostly in the MNC, oriented 3PLs, or very the top Indian industry clientele. What is your thought on that, industrial engineers?
I think, see, it is again, I think Vishal made a good point. See, engineering can be applied to a product packaging, but as he says, if the packaging, for example, you are going to stack one carton above the other, and there is going to be 1 plus 6 cartons, that is the limitation with which the carton has been designed. Which means we have to respect that law, which means no one at any point of time, whether it is transportation, whether it is storage on the ground, whether it is on the warehouse, the rule that only 1 plus 6 should be stacked should be followed. Otherwise, the design aspect of designing that carton box to take on that load of 6, if you put 12 more on top of it, naturally the box that is going to sit on the bottommost layer is going to crush. So, first point I'm trying to make is that the engineering ability for packaging, even though it is widely available, the industrial engineering aspect of that can also be looked into all that. The ground rules of you have to stack it vertical, it should not be turned upside down. The orientation of the box should not be, one box should be in the left side, another box should be to the right side. You should not stick the label anywhere in the box. It should be always be on the left, right corner, whatever. Some of those ground rules, if you call it, of not only packaging, but also enabling transportation and even unpacking. Because we always assume that things happen, right? Even in unpacking, for example, if the carton is transported upside down, during unpacking, they are going to cut the bottom tape and not the front tape, which they are supposed to do. So, my long story, this thing again short to me, what I'm thinking is that, what I'm commenting is that it is good that a lot of engineering attention gets into packaging and transportation together. Because when we design the supply chain, the idea is that the product must start from A and reach B in the best possible manner. Now, that means that if it is not just packing something very well at the origin, it has to go safe till the destination and enable better unpacking also. Same way in transportation, the ground rule of 1+6 stacking should also be followed when stuffing within the container, within the closed truck or within the truck. If that is not followed, then that aspect of packaging engineering, where we say the lowest box is designed for taking 1+6 load, then if we beat that rule, obviously the item, even though you pack it very nicely at the origin, it is not going to go safely to the destination. So I think the time is ripe, in my view, to put a lot more attention into the supply chain engineering, in which packaging forms a part of that, the transportation engineering, the warehouse engineering, and then the material handling engineering. So these are the 4 critical elements of making sure an item originates at point A, travels safely, and then it also reaches the destination safely. And it is also very easy to unhandle it, so that the end destination, for example, it could be an assembly line, it could be a consumer shelf, it could be a spare parts that have been stocked in a warehouse, whatever be that, also gets accomplished, and that whole chain takes this whole 4 pieces of engineering, packaging engineering, transportation engineering, warehouse engineering, material handling engineering into account, so that our reject rate, if you call it, or the ability to transport 99.9% of the time good parts all across the chain in a very good manner, we succeed in that effort.
That brings us to the end of episode 13 of Supply Chain India. Hope you liked it. Give your feedback, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. We will be back with our next episode soon. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.